Blue Morph Academy is the next evolution of what we're doing. So over the last 20 years, we've really worked with people from all over the world in retreat settings and plant medicine settings. And during that time, we went from pioneers of the space to what now is like a global movement. And there's this huge, visionary psychedelic and plant medicine global movement that's taking place. Some people call it the psychedelic renaissance. And we were looking at that space and thinking, what does that space need? And what we ultimately came up with was that it really needs education and training more than anything. And so the goal of the Blue Morpho Academy is to really raise the plant medicine industry to have a standardization and agreement on what are best practices and what are foundational understandings that everybody in the space should have to maintain safety and professionalism, ethics, and really highest standard of care for anybody that wants to explore these medicines together. So, we're very grateful to our ancestors, both indigenous and non-indigenous, that have taught us so much. And you hear in the community, that people take dieta seriously. They take, before going into ceremony seriously, like there is an understanding that these are very powerful plant medicines and they need to be treated with the utmost care. But it's also then a question of how. So then you hear things like, well, set and setting, but that's not enough anymore for just those thoughts. We need to unpack that and we need to break it down for everybody to really understand this idea of best practices. So in the Academy, we have 4 different levels of certification, like core levels. One is for a sitter, the second is for a coach, and the third is for a facilitator, and the fourth is a master facilitator. And each one requires a certain amount of training that really is both individual to be able to master that level of understanding and that level of the material, and then also have enough firsthand experience. So there isn't just one amount of time that says, oh, if you do that for 3 months or 6 months or a year, you'll be certified. It's more like you have to have the skills and have amassed those skills. So I think a sitter is anywhere from like 3 months if you already have, different kinds of coaching skills or different kinds of counseling skills. And if you don't have any skills, it's going to take you longer. So it might take you, 6 months to a year if you have no training going into it. But if you have some training already and you're bringing plant medicine skills to that, you can be trained within 3 months. And then your coach is really for people who are already counselors, they're already psychotherapists, they're already life coaches. They already have some kind of training where they're offering advice to people already. And now they realize that plant medicines can be this great accelerant, they're this great healer. There's more going on, and they want to be able to have rapport and understand their clients who are also participating in these kinds of activities and ceremonies. And so that, anywhere from 6 months to a year, and maybe longer if you don't have, previous training in that at all. And then for your facilitator, you need to master being a sitter and a coach to be able to really be able to become a facilitator. So you need to have those core skills, and then we add to those core skills, because for us, a facilitator is somebody who's also ingesting the medicine with the people. So they're helping guide, they're helping administer, they're helping dose, they're also they're an active participant in the experience itself. So think about the juxtaposition to a sitter who's there to provide advice, understand best practices, have a safety plan, know how to set up the space, know how to hold the space for others, but they're not ingesting, right? And other people are ingesting, and it really is like a more self-guided experience. The facilitator is actively guiding, actively participating, actively intervening where necessary. And so, the prerequisites for that are to have passed the sitter and the coach levels first to be a facilitator. And then a master facilitator is a person who wants to have really a mastery level of all of it. So it's a person who's dedicated their life to this. They know it's a calling. They know it's destiny for them. They know that they're going to ultimately support others and help train others. They want to be part of this, movement literally for the entirety of their life. It's just like any other kind of spiritual practice where it's a lifelong commitment. And, and so they've already gone through the other programs, and then they would be potentially accepted to be a master facilitator. And then from there, that could take as long as it takes. So 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, it wouldn't matter, because you already made that lifelong commitment.